I need to shave. So, I'm going to start this off by saying we cannot be who we're supposed to be by being who we were. And the significance of this is really backed behind the fact that we can tend to really get lost and caught up in the past because we perceive it to be better than where we are now. Okay. Welcome back to Solace. I hope you've been well. If you happen to enjoy anything I say in this video, drop it a like. If you hate everything I've said in this video, drop it a dislike. Subscribe if you want to stay with us. I think I'm almost at 50 subscribers, which is pretty outrageous. It's about 50 different people. It's fucking crazy. But I appreciate it, genuinely. I need to figure out how to, I'm talking to myself, my bad. So, when we relate ourselves to the past, we have this, I forget what the term is, but the way we perceive it is to be much better than it actually was in real time. Now, that's not to say you haven't had events, for example, or parties you've gone to that were actually genuinely joyful. But what we tend to do is, I think it's called the Streisand effect or something like that. I might be wrong. But basically, because it's already happened and we can't go back to it, we start to see it as something almost like a dream, but a really good dream. But because it's a really good dream, you tend to forget all of the details that were with it, you know? This can definitely happen with relationships, because we have a very bad habit with our monkey brains to believe things are either all good or all bad sometimes, especially if it's right after or after a good amount of time between the relationship. The in-between stage is where you're fighting the back and forth. But when we do this, we really hold ourselves back bad from the things that we're capable of. Because, listen, while you may have been more carefree in the past, you might have been more ignorant to the world, and because of that, you didn't really understand the significance and the weight of your actions, for example. Do you realize that because you now understand the significance and the weight of your actions, you can do so much more with said action? It's only through taking full-on accountability for the things that we're able to do, that we're able to move forward and do the things that we need to do. In the past, 9 times out of 10, when we reflect in the past, we can do something like high school or middle school. You look back on those times of being carefree because you didn't have to pay bills. There were no real responsibilities. And you were surrounded by people who you would consider your friends, which they are not to like. Besides the fact that most of these people are your associates by environment, not your friends. And you had responsibilities. It's just that your responsibilities were planned out for you through a schedule that was made for you by the system itself. So you didn't have to take accountability necessarily for everything that was going on, because you were always, like you said, schedule and routine. And if you wanted to do electives, you would pick those. For 9 times out of 10, if you had clubs, you would go to those. Otherwise, it's made for you. And I think it's that easiness that we miss. And understandably so, because believe it or not, life isn't necessarily meant to be hard. It's supposed to have challenges, but the way you go about those challenges is supposed to make it easier for you to deal with. But that's not to say that it isn't hard. It's hard as fuck. I understand, boss. But the thing with it is, you need to be much more patient with yourself. an understanding of the fact that you are much more capable of things now than you were then, because you did not know as much as you know now as you did then. Sometimes what we'll even tend to do is insert ourselves now into that position we were in the past and be like, nah, if I were, listen, you're not there. It already happened. We can't do that. Now, what you can do is you can be placed in other scenarios that reflect on things like that situation, and then see how you go about it. See if you can double down on the action you said you would take in these new forms that take place in your life. There's always going to be opportunities to do these things, but will you take the opportunity? Now, this is actually where the past can become the biggest problem. If you feel like what you've done isn't something you could recreate, you're wrong. It is evidence that you're capable of it and more. When we take memories to be who we are, we lose ourselves. Because you don't understand who you can be. You can analyze the past, for sure. Do everything you need to take as much detail and notes on the things that you did and how you were, so that you can actualize yourself in the present. You do not go in the past to try to devolve yourself to become who you were. You're regressing. That's not progression. And you may feel you want to do that way because of comfort, but you don't even remember how you really felt when you were that, because you aren't that. You're changing more and more every day. Whether you feel it or not, you're always making small decisions that alter the trajectory that you're going on. So who you were then, we don't even know which trajectory you would have continued to go down if you continued to be who you were then. There was a point in time when you stopped doing it for a reason. Now, like I said, taking aspects of yourself and integrating that into who you are now, 100% perfectly fine and normal. Because 9 times out of 10, who we were is an unadulterated version of our shadow self. And the shadow is something that you need to integrate. You need to have that darkness within you and feel comfortable with it instead of guilt or shame. Feel grateful that you have access to that part of yourself and communicate with it. Honestly, I could even go as far as to say the past is represented by the shadow, because it's what we believe we want to be. But another topic for another day. Just understand that the past isn't who you are, and it isn't who you were, and it isn't who you're going to be. The past is a recycling of comfortable emotions that you're able to tap into, and the more you tap into it, the less weight it has. So the more you tap into it to get the same feeling again. And the best way to get out of that habit is to make new memories. I know it can be harder nowadays than it used to be, but it's not impossible. It's not. And there should never be a reason you're able to claim such a thing for yourself, because it's not. I love yapping on YouTube. That shit's, it's nice. But damn, I need to shave. So with that, do what you can to relieve yourself from the belief that you were better then than you are now, because the best has yet to come in ways that you couldn't even begin to perceive. But you must allow it to happen for it to happen. And if you don't believe it will happen, it won't happen. Have faith in yourself. I'm gonna say it again, be patient with yourself, because you need to be patient. 9 times out of 10, most people end up falling off of themselves because they believe they should be able to change and have all of these quick actions decided upon the fucking next day. Absolutely not. Sometimes we'll have a time limit on the things we need to do, but that's rare in perspective when it comes to the self. You have all the time you need to within you. Just give yourself some silence and some solace to think these things through. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for today. Thank you for 48 subscribers. Yeah. Oh, and let me know if anything I've said is resonated. My dictionary, my brain is going crazy today. Let me know if anything I've said has resonated for you. I love hearing those stories as well. I love reading the comments. I fucking love reading the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching.